Swaminiti namine Namaste Sarasati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're overviewing the 6th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 1, which is about the life of Ajāmila.
我们学习的是圣典博伽瓦坛第6篇第1章，对于阿迦弥勒生平的描述。
So the chapter began with Maharaj Parikshit concerned about how to save people from going to the hellish planets.
这一篇开始的时候是 Maharaj Parikshit 他非常担心如何去拯救那些堕入到地狱之中。
So Sukadeva Goswami, first of all, talked about doing good karma, but then that was rejected, that was not enough to save people from going to hell. Haribol? Haribol?
Hare Krishna, Subhadevai Prabhu, 我们听到你了。
OK， 我再说一遍。在开始的时候 ，Maharaj Sukadeva Goswami 给 Parikshit Maharaj 讲述了关于 karma 果报的功利性活动，但是这一说法被拒绝了，因为这个果报功利性活动不足以拯救一个人堕落到地狱之中。
So then Sukadeva Goswami suggested the path of knowledge, cultivating knowledge and acting on the platform of knowledge could stop people going to hell.
接着 Sukadeva Goswami 就开始讲述有关知识的程序。如果一个人培养知识的话，有可能帮助一个人免于堕落到地狱的危险。
But Maharaj Parikshit did not accept that either, because he said that benefit is also going to be temporary.
但是 Parikshit Maharaj 同样拒绝了这一说法，因为他即便是培养知识，他认为所获得的也是非常短暂的。
So the only process by which people can be saved from going to hell is by taking up devotional service. So now Sukadeva Goswami is going to describe a wonderful incident which took place to support this.
而唯一能拯救人免于堕落到地狱危险的这个程序和方法，就是奉献服务。现在 Sukadeva Goswami 将会为我们举一个例子，而这个例子将会有效的证明这一点，通过奉献服务能够拯救人。
So this Sukadeva Goswami begins by talking about the life of Ajāmila, that he had married, he's from a city called Kanyakubja, and he was a Brahmin, but he married a low-class woman.
这里 Sukadeva Goswami 给我们在开始的时候给我们讲述的是 Ajāmila 的这个故事。Ajāmila 是住在一个叫 Kanyakubja 的一个城里，他是一个婆罗门，但是他娶了一位较低阶层的女性。
And so by association with the low-class woman, he lost all of his Brahminical qualities.
通过和这位非常低阶层的女性的联谊，他丧失了所有的好的品质。
So Srila Prabhupada explains how, even today in India, there are these different classes of people.
圣帕帕德在这个要旨里面解释到，即便在今天，在印度也有很多不同阶层的人。
And there are a class of women who will be like maids in the house, and they will be used by lusty men to satisfy their sexual desires.
有一个阶层就是，他们在家里属于女仆，但是呢，有时候充满色欲的人会利用这种女仆跟她发生性关系。
Because these men know that high-class women will not indulge in that kind of in lusty affairs with unmarried men, with men who are not their husbands.
Sorry, Gurudev.
High-class ladies will not have illicit connections with men who are not their husbands.
因为一般高阶层的这种女性，她不会和就是说不会和不是自己的丈夫的人发生这种非法的性关系。
But for high-class men may be in high-class families, they may look for these low-class women to satisfy their sexual desires.
但是这种上层社会的男性，他如果非常有色欲的话，他可能会寻找这样的低阶层的这种女性来满足他的性的欲望。
So Ajāmila, when he was a young man, he was a good brahmana, but somehow he got involved with a prostitute lady.
阿迦米勒是一位非常有资格的婆罗门青年，但是由于某种原因，他和一个妓女产生了联谊。
So Sukadeva Goswami is going to tell us about the life of Ajāmila and how he was saved by the power of chanting the holy name.
现在舒卡德瓦高斯瓦米将会为我们讲述阿迦米勒的这一生，来描述到底唱诵主的圣名的力量有多么的强大。
Yeah. In the Kali Yuga, this is the only process which can save people from all of their sinful reactions.
在卡利年代，这是唯一能够拯救那些罪恶的人的方法。
So this Ajāmila, he gave a lot of trouble to others by cheating them in gambling and by stealing from them.
这个阿迦米勒他做了很多给别人带来打扰的事情，比如说欺骗他人、抢劫他人，给别人造成了很多的麻烦。
So you can see when people engage in illicit sex with prostitutes, how they take up many other sinful habits.
从这里我们可以看出，如果一个人和妓女有非法的性关系，他会变得多么的堕落，造成其他的很多的罪恶行为。
If you associate with women who are chaste and who have some culture, then there will be no illicit sex.
如果你和一个非常有文化的、有教养的女性和她们交往的话，不会有这种非法的性生活的情况发生。
But because there's low-class people, low-class men, and they look for these low-class women.
这些非常低阶层的男性，他们就在寻找这样的低阶层的女性。
So in Krishna consciousness, it's very important that all the devotees are careful to avoid illicit sex.
Krishna 知觉运动非常强调避免所有的门徒去从事非法的性生活。
Because when there's illicit sex, then the other things will also come: meat eating, gambling, intoxication.
只要开始了非法性生活，随之而来的吃肉、赌博、麻醉品都会接踵而至。
People may say, "Oh, it's very difficult. I can't control." But if they chant Hare Krishna regularly, and if they're really genuine and sincere and surrender to Krishna, then they can give it up.
人们可能会说，要控制这个是非常困难的， 但是如果他唱诵 Krishna 的圣名，如果非常真诚，唱诵 Krishna 的圣名的话，他是有可能放弃这一行径的。
But if we allow people to continue to indulge in illicit sex, then there will be more cheating and thieving and all bad habits will develop.
如果我们允许非法性生活的这种行为使它增加的话，那么欺骗、抢劫、偷盗等等这些非常不好的习惯都会增加。
So we're told that this Ajāmila, that he was engaged in all these sinful activities, and right up in his old age, he was 88 years old, and he was still doing all these sinful activities.
这个阿加米勒，他从事了很多的罪恶活动，而且一直到了88岁的时候，还在从事这么多的罪恶活动。
And he had 10 sons. And the youngest was a little baby named Narayan.
他有10个儿子，最小的那个儿子是一个婴儿，他的名字叫 Narayana。
So because he's the youngest child, so the father and mother were both very attached to the youngest child.
因为他是最年幼的这个小孩，所以父母非常宠爱，非常依附这个小孩。
So actually, Vedic culture is such that one is meant to leave home before old age. From the age of 50, we are not meant to live at home. We're meant to get out from the house.
按照伟大的文化，人如果到了50岁，就是在非常年迈的时候，就应该离开家庭。应该到了50岁的时候，就应该立刻离开家庭，不能继续待在家里面。
Especially, you're not meant to stay at home in your old age and be having children.
尤其是到老的时候，不能留在家里面，还在家里面想要生孩子。
So one's meant to actually go out from the home and go to the holy places or do some austerity.
最好他应该在这个年迈的时候就离开家庭，去到一些圣地，从事一些苦行的活动。
But this Ajāmila, because of his bad association, he became very sinful. Even in his household life, he was very sinful.
这个阿加米勒由于他不好的这种联谊，即便到了他年迈的时候，在居士生活的时候，他仍非常的罪恶。
And Ajāmila, he enjoyed very much to see the little baby Narayan. He enjoyed so much to watch the little child, to listen to it, try to speak, and to watch his movements.
这个阿加米勒非常依附他的小孩子，而且他很享受这个小孩子的移动，跟他说话，跟他在一起非常享受。
So Ajāmila, he's so old, and he's got this young child, and it gives him so much pleasure. He feels so, look at my little child.
这个阿加米勒虽然非常年纪非常大，但是他被这个小孩非常受他的吸引，他非常喜爱他的这个小孩子，一举一动非常喜爱他。
So Ajāmila, he was always calling the name of his son. He was always calling Narayan, Narayan, where are you? Come, Narayan.
因此，这个阿加米勒总是呼唤他这个小儿子的名字 Narayana Narayana， 你在哪儿 Narayana。
So Ajāmila wasn't chanting the name of God. He wasn't thinking, I'm chanting the name of the Supreme Lord.
阿加米勒在唱诵的时候，他没有想着这个名字是主的名字。
But because he was chanting the name, because it was the name of the Lord, he got some benefit from that. And the benefit is he was becoming purified.
然而，这个名字它就是主本人的名字。由于他唱诵这个主本人的名字，所以他就得到了净化。
And the old man liked to call the name of his child. He was taking pleasure in calling that name, so that was very good for Ajāmila.
我们知道老人家他就喜欢叫这个小孩子的名字。 因此他在叫这个小儿子的名字的时候，这个对阿伽米勒来说是非常好的一件事情。
Even today, many people, they will give names like this to their children. They'll call their children Krishna Das or Govinda Das or Vrindavan Das.
即便在今天，人们也习惯给自己的孩子起名字叫 Krishna Das、Govinda Das、Vrindavan Das。
And by calling these names, the people who chant these names are becoming purified. And people who hear these names, they are also becoming purified.
他们通过唱诵这些名字会得到净化，而那些聆听到这样名字的人也会得到净化。
So whenever Ajāmila would take food, he would call the little child to come and eat with him. And whenever he drank anything, he would have the little child come and also drink with him.
当阿伽米勒要吃一些东西的时候，他会呼唤这个小孩过来和他一起吃。当阿伽米勒想要喝一些东西的时候，他也会喊这个小孩子过来和他一起喝。
So Ajāmila, he didn't understand that his time in the material body was finished and it's coming close to death.
但是阿伽米勒浑然不知的是，他物质身体的这个时间已经消磨殆尽，他死亡已经在向他逼近了。
And he's still spending his time taking care of the child and calling the name of the child.
他仍然花很多的时间和这个小孩子在一起，而且呼唤他的名字。
But somehow or other he was attached to calling that name Narayan. So he gets a lot, that is called Agyata Sukriti. Means you do pious activities without knowing about it.
因此他仍然在呼唤他小儿子的名字。他从事的这种活动叫 Ajāmila Sukriti， 也就是说不知不觉地从事的这种虔诚活动。他虽然在从事这样的一些很好的活动，但是他并不知道他在从事这些活动。
But because he's chanting the holy name, that was being counted. He was getting the benefit from that.
因为他在唱诵主的圣名，所以他的这些每唱诵一次主的圣名都被记录了下来。
But he didn't know. He wasn't thinking like that.
但是他本人并不知道，他本人也并不认为他是在唱诵主的圣名。
So when it came time for this Ajāmila to die, he was only thinking about the little boy, about little Narayan.
当他的死期到来的时候，他脑袋里面只想的是他的小儿子，他小儿子 Narayana。
So somehow the people at the time of leaving the body, if they're able to chant the holy name of the Lord, it's a great benefit for them.
有时人们唱诵主的圣名，这对于他们来说是非常大的益处。
So because Ajāmila was the son of a Brahmin, he was used to worshipping Narayan when he was a young man, before he became fallen.
阿伽弥勒在年轻的时候是一位婆罗门，在他堕落之前，他也非常很好的从事了崇拜纳尔亚那的服务。
So although Ajāmila was contaminated, he was calling for his son.
虽然阿伽弥勒他很受污染的这种活动，但是他仍然呼唤他的儿子。
And just at the time of death, when he was calling for his son, he remembered how when he was a young boy, how he used to worship also Lord Narayan.
虽然他的心意受到污染，他在呼唤儿子，但是他记起了他年轻时曾经崇拜过的纳尔亚那。
Because when he was young, before he fell down, he used to worship the Narayan Shalagram Shila.
在他堕落之前，在他年轻的时候，他崇拜过纳尔亚那的希拉。
So at the time of death, he was remembering what he used to do.
在他临死的时候，他记忆起他之前所做的这些事情。
So because Ajāmila was always chanting the name of his son, and because the name of his son was Narayan, he was actually he was on the planet, he was doing bhakti.
因为阿伽弥勒总是在记忆主的圣名，也是在唱诵主的这个名字，他被提升到 bhakti 奉爱的这个层面。
But he didn't know he was doing bhakti.
但是他并不知道他在从事着奉爱的活动。
So although at the time of death he was chanting the name of his son, he concentrated his mind upon the holy name of Narayan.
他在临死之前唱诵的是他自己儿子的名字，但是呢，他唱诵的也是他把他的心意专注在了这个哪儿样的圣名之上。
So at the time of death, he was remembering the Supreme Lord Narayan.
因此，在临死之前，他记忆起至尊主哪儿样的。
So then he saw 3 of these persons with terrible looking bodies, all twisted and frightening looking, with ropes in their hand.
然后阿伽弥勒看见3位非常外形比较崎岖、比较可怕的这个人在他的身后。
They'd come to take him to the place of Yamaraj.
这3个人准备来把他带到 Yamaraj 的面前。
So Ajāmila could see them, and when he saw them, it made him think of his child, because his child was playing nearby, so he began to call out for his child.
当这3个外貌非常可怕的人来的时候，他就开始呼唤起他旁边的那个他儿子的名字起来。
So when a person does sinful activities, they don't usually chant the holy name of the Lord.
当人们从事罪恶活动的时候，通常他不会唱诵主的圣名。
But this is a very special case, because from the very birth of the child, he's been chanting this name of the Lord.
这是一个很特别的例子，因为当这个小孩子刚出生的时候，他就开始唱诵他的名字。
So because Ajāmila was very sinful, the 3 men from Yamaloka came to take him to Yamaraj for punishment.
因为阿伽弥勒非常的罪恶，所以来自 Yamaloka 的3个人想要把他带到 Yamaraj 那里去。
So Ajāmila chanted the 4 syllables of the holy name.
阿伽弥勒唱诵了圣名的4个音节。
Narayana, Narayana. 4 syllables. Narayana.
Narayana.
Narayana. Narayana. 4 syllables, right? So the Vishnu, because he chanted the name of Narayan, so the Vishnu Duras also came there.
他唱诵了4个音节 Narayana， 因此他唱诵了这个圣名。因此，威什努都塔也来到了这里，就是威什努的执行官。
So Ajāmila, he never meant to chant the name of God. He just wanted to call his son.
阿伽弥勒并不想唱诵主的圣名，但是他只是想呼唤他儿子的而已。
So at that time, the order carriers of Vishnu, the Vishnu Dudas, they also came. When they heard the holy name of the Lord, they also came there.
但不管怎样，威什努都塔听到他的主人的名字被呼唤的时候，他在那个时候就来了。
Ajāmila had called the name of the Lord without any offense. There was no offenses in his chanting.
阿伽弥勒在唱诵主的圣名的时候，是毫无冒犯的唱诵的主的圣名。
He chanted in anxiety. He was really afraid, so he chanted.
他非常焦虑的唱诵了主的圣名，他当时也非常害怕。
So the Vishnu Duras who came there, they didn't consider about why he chanted. They just saw his chanting as sincere.
但是威什努都塔来的时候，他并没有考虑阿伽弥勒是为什么而唱诵主的圣名，他只是认为他很真诚的在唱诵主的圣名。
So anybody who chants the Lord's holy name attracts the attention of the Lord's devotees.
任何人唱诵主的圣名，他都会吸引主的奉献者。
So the Vishnudutas, they came there to protect Ajāmila.
因此，威什努都塔前来想来保护阿伽米勒。
Ajāmila, he just chanted the holy name. He didn't do anything else to glorify the Lord.
阿伽米勒只是在唱诵主的圣名，他并没有做任何其他的事情来荣耀主。
He didn't do any worship of the Lord.
他也没有崇拜主。
All he ever did, he just chanted the holy name, and he did it without the intention of chanting the holy name. He did it.
他没有从事别的什么事情，但是他只是全神贯注的唱诵主的圣名。
他不故意的，
他是无意之中无意之中唱诵的主的圣名。
So that chanting took away all of his sinful activities. It took away all of his bad karma.
但是这样的唱诵带走了他所有的罪恶反应，带走了他所有的业报。
So when the Vishnudutas heard the name of their master Narayan being chanted, they all came. They came.
当威什努都塔听到他的主人纳尔亚纳的名字被唱诵的时候，他们都来了。
So Ajāmila, because of his past, he'd been very fortunate that he'd been doing devotional service for Narayan. So when he chanted the holy name at the time of death, he was doing it without offense.
阿伽米勒非常的幸运，他在临死之前唱诵了主的圣名，而且是没有冒犯的唱诵主的圣名。
So he was doing pure devotional service.
因此他做了纯粹的奉献服务。
But the Yamadutas, they were taking the soul out the body, and they were going to bind him up and take him to Yamaloka.
但是亚玛都塔他们想把这个亚玛 Raj 把他的灵魂从他的身体抓出来，然后带到亚玛 Loka 那里去。
But the Vishnudutas told them, "Stop! You cannot do this."
但威什努都塔威什努的执行官来说，停止，你们不能这样做。
Because Ajāmila chanted the holy name of the master of the Vishnudutas. So because he chanted the holy name of Narayan, so he was protected.
因为阿伽米勒他唱诵了威什努都塔他的主人的名字 Narayana 的名字，所以他在这个时候受到了保护。
They told the Yamadutas, "Leave him alone. You have no right to take him anywhere."
这个威什努都塔说，把他离开他，你们没有权利这么做。
And if you don't stop, then we will take action against you. We will punish you.
如果你们不再停止的话，我们将会惩罚你。
So these people from Yamaraj, they only have the right to take sinful people.
这些亚玛 Raj 的阎罗王的这些执行官，他们只有权利去处置那些罪恶的人。
But the messengers of Lord Vishnu, the Vishnudutas, they can punish anyone, even the Yamadutas.
但是主威什努的执行官，他们有能力处罚任何人，甚惩罚任何人，包括这些亚玛 Raj 的。
Even if he does some wrong to a devotee, then they can take action against him.
即便如果他们做了从事对奉献者的一个冒犯的话，他们也会，就是这些威什努都塔也会来惩罚他。
So it's clear from this verse that the soul is in the heart of all living entities.
从这节诗里面，我们可以很清楚的看到， 灵魂是在每一个众生的心中的。
The servants of Yamaraj were trying to take the soul out of the heart of Ajāmila.
阎罗王的那些仆人，他们准备把阿迦米勒心中的那个灵魂给拿出来。
The super soul was also in the heart.
同样，超灵也在我们的心之中，在内心之中。
Yeah, like two birds in a tree.
就像在一棵树上的两只鸟一样。
So the heart of the body of the living entity is the seat for the soul.
在人们的心脏这个部位，心脏它是灵魂的一个座位。
And the material energy is like a machine.
物质能量是一个机器。
And the driver of the machine is the soul.
而坐在这个机器上的这个人是灵魂。
And it's the soul who is actually the owner.
实际上，灵魂是这个躯体机器的主人。
But they also get it that whatever the body is actually given by the grace of the Supreme Lord. They are not the actual real proprietor, but they're just given temporary control over the body. But actually the body is given by the grace of the Supreme Lord.
实际上，我们的这个躯体只是至尊主给予我们的一个短暂的机器。 他真正的拥有者是这个至尊主，他只是给我们的一个短暂的使用的。
When one body is finished, then you get another body.
当我们的这个躯体结束的时候，这个灵魂又会得到另外一个躯体。
At that time, the soul is taken away by the servants of Yamaraj.
在那一刻，在离开躯体的那一刻的时候，亚玛拉吉的仆人会带着这个灵魂走。
And they will arrange the suitable body for the next life.
这个他们会给这个灵魂安排下一个合适的躯体。
So these servants of Lord Yamaraj is the god of death, and he is the son of the sun god.
亚玛拉吉阎罗王，他是死亡之神，他是太阳神的儿子。
So he's a very powerful person in the universe.
他是整个宇宙之中非常有力量的一个人。
And the servants of Yamaraj, when they were forbidden to take the soul out of the body, then they were very surprised that who is stopping us? We are the servants of Yamaraj.
当亚玛拉吉的执行官、阎罗王的这些执行官被勒令禁止了之后，他们非常的惊讶，有谁敢阻止我们的活动呢？我们是亚玛拉吉阎罗王的手下。
What right do you have to challenge the authority of Lord Yamaraj?
你们有什么权利来挑战我们的权威阎罗王呢？
According to the Yamaduras, Ajāmila was actually meant to be taken to Yamaraj.
根据亚玛拉吉的这个管辖。 这个阿迦米勒应该被带到亚玛拉吉那里去。
So when they were stopped, when they were told don't touch him, then they were very surprised because usually nobody would ever interfere.
当他们被告知被禁止做这个事情的时候，他们非常的惊讶，因为以前没有人这么跟他们说。
And they've arrested, the Yamaduras are very busy arresting sinful people and taking them to hell for punishment before Yamaraj. But nobody had stopped them before.
Sorry, who is very busy?
The Yamaduras.
亚玛都塔这个阎罗王的这些执行官非常的忙碌，他们总是非常忙碌的带着这些人到亚玛拉吉，这些罪恶的人到亚玛拉吉那里去。在这之前，他们总是这么做，没有人阻止他们。
So the Yamaduras asked to the Vishnuduras, they asked them, "Who are you? Where do you come from? Why are you stopping us doing our duty?"
阎罗王的这些执行官就开始问这个维什努都塔：你们是谁？你们是从哪里来？为什么不让我们这么做？
Are you demigods from the heavenly planets?
你们是来自天堂星球的半神人吗？
Or maybe you're the best of maybe you're very good devotees.
还是说你们是非常优秀的奉献者？
Because pure devotees are very rare.
我们知道，纯粹的奉献者是非常罕见的。
Even for somebody to know that it's not the body, that's very rare.
即便一个人他知道他不是这个躯体，有这么一个觉知的人，这样的人也是非常罕有的。
But if somebody understands the soul is a part of the Supreme Soul, then that is very special.
而如果一个人他知道他是灵魂之外，他还知道他的这个灵魂是至尊灵魂的一部分的话，这样的人是非常特别的。
That person, he is able to go to Vaikuntha, to live in.
这样的人，他能够有资格去到外昆塔。
So the Yamadutas, they're the servants of Yamaraj. And Yamaraj is a very great personality. He's very powerful, very pure.
亚玛都塔他是 Yamaraj 的仆人，而 Yamaraj 他是一位非常伟大的奉献者，非常有力量。
He's above all the demigods. He's greater than the demigods.
他在所有的半神人之上，而且他比所有的半神人都伟大。
So the Yamadutas, they want to understand why the Vishnu Dutas had come to protect this sinful man.
亚玛都塔非常疑惑，他们想知道为什么威什努都塔在这个时候出现在这个罪恶的人面前。
So at this point, Ajāmila hadn't died yet.
从这一点上来说，阿迦米勒在这个时候是没有死的。
No, the Yamadutas were trying to take the soul out from his body.
因为亚玛都塔他正要从亚玛拉吉的心里抓出那个灵魂。
But they hadn't been able to do it yet because Ajāmila had not yet died.
他们没有能把那个灵魂给抓出来，所以阿迦米勒没有死。
But Ajāmila was unconscious, but he could hear the argument between the Yamadutas and the Vishnu Dutas.
但是阿迦米勒那个时候处于无意识的昏迷状态，但是他也能听见亚玛都塔和威什努都塔之间的辩论。
And this argument would decide who would get the body of Ajāmila.
这场辩论将决定谁将会得到阿迦米勒的灵魂。
So the Yamadutas, they're surprised about the beauty of these other people.
亚玛都塔非常惊讶于这几个人他们的身体的美丽。
The Yamadutas themselves, they're very horrible, very ugly, frightening. Just see them, people scream.
在前面我们知道亚玛都塔他们的身体是长得非常可怕的，人们一看到他们的这个形象的时候都会尖叫起来。
But these servants of Lord Vishnu, they're very beautiful. Their eyes are like lotus flowers.
但是这些威什努都塔、威什努的仆人们，他们非常美丽，他们的眼睛就像莲花瓣一样。
And they have beautiful helmets on their heads.
他们在头上有头盔。
And they have nice earrings also. And they're wearing flower garland of lotuses.
他们也戴着耳环，而且身上带着一串莲花的花环。
And they all have 4 arms, and they're carrying weapons like bows and arrows and swords, clubs.
他们有4只手，每只手上都带着这个武器：剑、神锤、海螺、神蝶和莲花。
And they're very effulgent, so the effulgence coming from their bodies makes the place very bright.
他们的身上散发着这个光灿，他们的光灿驱散了黑暗。
So they ask the Vishnu Dutas, why are you stopping us?
他们就问这个威什努都塔，为什么你们要阻止我们呢
So Prabhupada talks how it's important that people recognize the dress and the external appearance of people.
圣帕帕德在这里解释到，人们通过人们的躯体特征和外貌的这个形象来识别一个人。
So external appearances, they create a strong impression in people about others.
人们的一个外在的形象会给另外一个人留下很深刻的印象。
Right, so that the bodily features and the dress, the appearance is very important.
他们身体的特征，他们所穿戴的这些特征，都会影响他们，都是非常重要的。
So the order carriers of Yamaraj, they had made up, they were actually wrong in thinking Ajāmila was sinful.
阎罗王的这些执行官，事实上他们认为阿伽米勒是有罪的，事实上他们的这个想法是错误的。
Actually, he was sinful throughout his life. He did a lot of sins.
事实上，他之前是很罪恶的，他确实从事了很多的罪恶活动。
But he was purified by chanting the holy name of Narayan.
但是通过他唱诵Narayana的圣名，主的圣名，他得到了净化。
So, unless one is a devotee, you cannot understand the activities of another devotee.
除非人是一个奉献者，否则他不能明白另外一个奉献者的活动。
So the people of Vaikuntha, they can be recognized by their dress and by their appearance.
外昆塔的居民可以通过他们的穿着和他们的形象来得到了解。
They have 4 arms, and the arms carry the different weapons of Lord Vishnu.
他们有4臂的形体，而且每一个手臂上持有不同的武器。
They've got the same bodily features as Lord Vishnu.
他们和主威什努一样的身体特征。
But they're always servants. They never think they're the master. They always know they're the servant.
但是他们总是认为自己是主威什努的仆人，尽管他们有这样相同的特征，他们认为自己总是主威什努的仆人。
They know Lord Narayan or Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, they're the supreme.
他们知道主 Narayana、主威什努、主 Krishna， 他们是至尊。
But the devotees, they're self-realized souls. They're liberated souls.
这些奉献者，他们都是觉悟自我的灵魂，他们都是解脱了的灵魂。
But they never claim that they're God.
他们从不会声称自己就是主。
Nobody in Vaikuntha Loka will ever claim that they're God.
在外昆塔的任何人都不会声称自己就是主。
Only the Supreme Lord Himself.
只有主他自己才会声称自己是主。
So when the Yamadutas talked like that to the Vishnu Dutas, the servants of Lord Vishnu, they just smiled, and then they replied to them.
当威什努都塔听到 Yamaraj 对他们的这个询问之后，威什努都塔他们只是非常微笑着，然后准备回答他们。
The Yamadutas, they were surprised because the Vishnu Dutas were so polite, but at the same time they wouldn't let them take Ajāmila.
亚玛都塔非常的惊讶，同时呢，威什努都塔也非常有礼貌，但同时，亚玛都塔他们非常感到诧异的是，他们这个威什努都塔阻止他带走这个人。
So the Vishnu Dutas, they're also surprised about the Yamadutas.
威什努都塔对亚玛都塔也感到很诧异。
They're surprised the Yamadutas don't know the principles of religion.
威什努都塔觉得诧异的是，这些亚玛都塔竟然 不知道至尊的这个宗教原则。
So when they heard the Yamadutta speak that Ajāmila is sinful, they thought, what is this? This nonsense, what are you speaking?
当威什努都塔觉得听到亚玛都塔觉得这个阿伽米勒是一个罪恶的人的时候，威什努都塔说：“你们这完全是胡说八道的这种行为。”
Yeah, they should know Ajāmila is not somebody to take to Yamaraj to be punished.
他们应该知道，这个阿伽米勒不应该是被带到亚玛拉吉那里接受惩罚的人。
So the Vishnu Dutas, they say to Yamadutas, that they say, if you are really the servants of Yamaraj, then tell us, what is the meaning of religious principles?
这些威什努都塔就对亚玛都塔说：“假如你们真的是亚玛拉吉的仆人，你们就得给我们解释什么是宗教原则的真正含义。
And what are the symptoms of irreligion?
什么是非宗教？”
So this is a very important question. Everybody should know the answer to this question.
这是非常重要的问题，每一个人都应该清楚什么这两者的这个答案。
And the servants of Yamaraj said they were carrying out the order of Yamaraj.
亚玛都塔他们认为他们在接受亚玛拉吉的命令。
So the Vishnuduras are very intelligent. They said to them, so if you are really serving Yamaraj, then tell us, what are the symptoms of religion and irreligion?
威什努都塔就显得非常有智慧，他就问：如果你们是亚玛拉吉的仆人的话，那就请你们告诉我，什么是宗教原则，这些宗教原则的特征是什么？非宗教原则、非宗教又有哪些特征？
Somebody who is a devotee will know what is the actual instruction of Krishna.
如果一个人是奉献者的话，他应该知道主 Krishna 的训示到底是什么。
Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, surrender to me. Give up all activities of religion. Just surrender to me.
就像在《薄伽梵歌》中，主 Krishna 说：“放弃一切宗教，只是臣服于我。”
So this is actually the principle of religion.
实际上，这就是宗教的真正的原则。
But if somebody surrenders to the material nature instead of to Krishna, that is not good.
如果一个人他放弃臣服 Krishna， 反而去崇拜、去臣服物质自然的话，那不是很好。
That is not going to save people from material life.
这不会帮助一个人从物质自然、物质生命之中得到拯救。
So these people who don't surrender to Krishna, they're sinful rascals.
那些不臣服 Krishna 的人，他们是非常罪恶的混蛋。
They're thinking Krishna just to be an ordinary person. They don't understand Krishna's position.
他们只是认为 Krishna 是一个普通的人。
So somebody who is not surrendered to Krishna, they don't know the real principles of religion.
一个不臣服 Krishna 的人，他不知道真正的宗教是什么。
So if somebody represents someone else, they must know the person's mission. So if somebody is representing Yamaraj, they should know Yamaraj's mission.
如果一个人声称自己代表着某个人的话，他必须对这个代表的这个人物知道他的使命是什么。如果一个人他声称自己是 Yamaraj 阎罗王的使者的话，他也应该知道阎罗王的使命是什么。
And the same way, somebody in the Krishna consciousness movement, they should know what is the mission of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Krishna.
如果一个人说自己是一个在 Krishna 知觉运动中的一个奉献者的话，他也应该知道主 Chaitanya 的使命是什么。
If somebody if they say I'm a devotee, I'm a Hare Krishna, and they don't know the mission of Lord Chaitanya or Lord Krishna, then they must be stupid.
如果一个人声称自己是奉献者，但他不知道主柴塔尼亚的使命，也不知道主 Krishna 的使命，他被认为是很愚蠢的。
If we don't know these things, then it will be very embarrassing, and we will be insulted when we go to try and preach.
如果我们并不知道主的这些使命的话，我们是有时候会陷入到很尴尬的困境，而且会在传教的过程中会被受到指责。
So the Vishnu Dutas have more questions. They want to know what is the how to punish people.
维什努都塔有更多的问题对这个亚玛都塔，他说：“你们用什么方法去惩罚他人？
And who should be punished?
到底谁应该受到惩罚呢？”
Should everybody who is a karmi, who is doing things for their own sense gratification, should they all be punished, or only some of them?
是不是所有从事这些功利性活动的这些人，这些 karmi 们应该受到惩罚，还是说只是他们其中的某一些人？
Somebody may have the power, they may have the power that they can punish people. Doesn't mean they should punish everyone.
有人有力量惩治他人，但是并不意味着他应该去惩罚每一个人。
So there's most of the souls are in the spiritual world. They're already perfect, liberated beings. They're in the spiritual world. Only a small portion of souls are in the material world.
事实上，大部分的生物他们都在灵性世界，只有一小部分的生物他们在这个物质世界。
And most of the forms of life, like there's 8,400,000 forms of life, 8 million forms are all lower than human.
有840万种生命形式之中的800万种是低于人类的。
So these people in the lower forms of life, they cannot be punished.
这些低于人类的这些生命形式，他们不受惩罚。
Because they're in the lower forms of life, they're gradually coming to the human form.
他们在低等的这种生命形式之中，自然的进化到人类。
But human beings who have got consciousness, full consciousness, not like the animals and lower, they have to be responsible. But not everybody, not all the humans, only those advanced in knowledge.
那些知觉发达的人类有责任，但也不是所有的人类都应该受到惩罚。
Only those who engage in sinful activities get punished.
只有那些从事罪恶活动的人应该受到惩罚。
Alright, if people are advanced, if they do pious activities, they don't get punished.
如果一个人他非常虔诚的话，他从事虔诚的活动的话，他不应该受到惩罚。
So who should be punished? And why is Yamaraj saying that you have to punish this Ajāmila?
所以，到底谁应该受到惩罚呢？为什么 Yamaraj 说这个阿迦米勒需要受到惩罚呢？
How should we judge who is to be punished?
我们如何去评判一个人是否应该受到惩罚？
So the Vishnu Dutas are asking these questions.
这就是维什努都塔所提出的这些问题。
So the Yamadutas reply, they say, that everything is according to the Vedas. The Vedas describe what is the process of religion.
亚玛都塔这个时候就回答到，所有的一切都是依据韦达经，韦达经来告诉我们什么是宗教和非宗教。
And the opposite of that is irreligion.
韦达经构成的宗教原则，而与之相悖的就是非宗教。
The Vedas come from the Supreme Lord Narayan.
韦达经是来自于至尊 Narayana。
We've been told by Yamaraj all this.
我们是从Yamaraj 那里听到的这一些。
the Yamaduras, they didn't make up any principles of religion themselves.
亚麻都他说，我们并没有自己去创造这些宗教原则。
They just repeat what they'd heard from their master, Lord Yamaraj.
我们只是在重复从 Yamaraj 那里听到的这些话而已。
And Yamaraj is one of the 12 Mahajans, one of the 12 authorities on devotional service.
而 Yamaraj 阎罗王他是我们的12位权威之一，他也是纯粹的奉献者。
So the Yamaduras, they gave a good answer. They said, we have heard. They heard from their master. They didn't make it up in their own way.
因此，亚麻都塔他们做了很好的回答。他们说，我们只是听 Yamaraj 那里的话，我们并没有根据我们自己的方法去捏造或编造这样的。
People today are not like this. A lot of people today, they make up their own philosophies.
但是当今的人们，他们并不这样。当今的人们，很多人们，他们是自己创造这样的哲学。
So it's important to hear from the authorities.
因此，非常重要的一点就是我们从权威那里去聆听。
In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it says, the Srimad Bhagavatam rejects all cheating religion.
圣典博伽瓦坛说到，圣典博伽瓦坛拒绝所有的欺骗。
Anything which is not supported by the Vedas, then we will reject it.
那些不被韦达经所支持的，这些都应该被排斥。
We just accept what is given by the Supreme Lord.
我们只是接受由至尊人格守神所给予的。
We have to accept the authority of the Supreme Lord. We have to surrender to His authority.
我们应该接受至尊人格守神为我们的权威，并臣服他。
So that is Dharma.
这就是宗教原则。
So Arjuna was thinking violence was irreligion. He was confused.
而朱娜认为暴力是非宗教原则，因此他拒绝
So he
作战。
didn't want to fight because he thought this is irreligion.
因此他拒绝作战，他认为这个暴力是非宗教。
But Krishna wanted it. Krishna got him to fight. So Arjuna did it because Krishna wanted him to fight.
但是 Krishna 希望阿尔朱娜去作战，因为这是 Krishna 的命令。
So the order of Krishna is actually Dharma. That's the most important Dharma. The direct order of Krishna.
因此 Krishna 的命令是真正的宗教原则 ，Krishna 的直接的命令。
So the real purpose of Vedic knowledge is to know Krishna.
伟达知识的真正目的是为了了解 Krishna。
Just by knowing Krishna, then we can be liberated from the material world.
只是通过了解 Krishna， 我们可以从物质世界得到解脱。
So we have to know what is Krishna's instruction, what does Krishna want.
因此，我们应该了解 Krishna 的训示是什么 ，Krishna 希望什么。
So actual religion could be understood to be what is the order of the Vedas.
宗教可以被通过韦达经的指令，我们可以了解什么是宗教。
And anything which is not supported by the Vedas, then that is irreligion.
而不被韦达经所支持的这些是非宗教。
So these instructions of the Vedas, they come from the breathing of Lord Narayan.
这些韦达经是来自于主 Narayana 的呼吸之间。
And so Lord Narayan's eternal, so his breathing is eternal, and so the Dharma is also eternal.
Narayana 是永恒存在的，所以他的呼吸也是永恒存在的。因此，这个永恒的这些宗教也是永恒的存在的。
So the words of the Vedas, they come from the mouth of the Supreme Lord.
韦达经是来自于至尊主的嘴。
And Lord Vishnu is the origin of all this Vedic knowledge.
主威什努是所有伟达经的源头。
The Vedas only has the instructions of Lord Vishnu.
伟达经只包含主威什努的训示。
And somebody follows the principles of the Vedas, he's a devotee, he's a Vaishnava.
如果人追随伟达经的训示的话，他应该是一位歪什那瓦，是奉献者。
A Vaishnava is not just some member of some sectarian group in the material world.
一位奉献者，他不是说只是这个物质世界的某个团体的成员。
Vaishnava is a real knower of the Vedas.
歪什那瓦是伟达经的真正的知悉者。
So we have to hear from these Vaishnavas.
我们需要从这些奉献者那里去聆听。
We have to associate with the Vaishnavas.
我们需要和这些奉献者去联谊。
We have to serve the Vaishnavas.
我们得去服务这些奉献者。
Okay, so we'll stop here.
好，我们今天讲到这儿。
Any questions?
也难明确。萨提玛姐，我现在还没有看到问题哈。
对，是的，还没有问题。
Good day， 我有一个小问题。如何理解这个阿加米勒他的唱诵是没有冒犯的唱诵的？根据我们学到的没有冒犯的唱诵的这些，我们如何理解阿加米勒的唱诵是没有冒犯的唱诵
How to understand Ajāmila did not chant with offenses?
？Yes。
Well, you have to know what are the offenses.
我们就是说我问的问题是如何去理解阿加米勒的唱诵是没有冒犯的唱诵？马哈拉吉咕噜的回答是：我们先得了解什么是有冒犯的唱诵。
We have to know what is pure chanting of the holy name.
我们得了解什么是纯粹的唱诵。
Ajāmila didn't know what is pure chanting, what is not pure chanting.
阿加米勒他不知道什么是纯粹的唱诵，什么是不纯粹的唱诵。
He wasn't thinking about chanting the holy name.
他甚至不认为这是唱诵主的圣名。
He was only calling his son.
他只是在呼唤他儿子的名字而已。
So he got the great benefit.
但是他得到了巨大的益处。
Prabhupada explains in the purport, he was saying that he gave the name of his son, he gave that name to his son, Narayan, because he said he used to worship the Narayan Shila when he was a young boy.
圣帕帕德在这个要旨里面提到，当他给这个小儿子命名为拿尔央纳的时候，是因为他在之前的时候曾经从事过对拿尔央纳希腊的服务崇拜。
So it often happens that things like we do in our childhood, it will come in our mind in older age.
通常会有这样的情况发生，当我们在小孩的时候，我们从事的一些活动，这个活动在我们年老的时候会一直留在我们的内心之中。
So Ajāmila, he had a very good birth. He was born as a Brahmana, and he was worshipping the Shalagram, and he was very pious.
阿加米勒他有一个很好的出身，他在一个婆罗门的这个家庭，然后他在小的时候从事了很多的虔诚活动。
But somehow, just by fate, or you could say by the will of providence, he met this low-class woman, and he became corrupted.
但不知怎么地，我们可以说，或许是命运吧，他遇到了这个妓女。
And although he's 88 years old, he's still with this woman, and they have young children.
直到88岁的时候，他还和这个女人在一起，还有他的这些孩子。
But somehow he had by the grace of the Lord, he gave that name, the holy name of the Lord, to his youngest son.
但是由于主的仁慈，他能够给他的最小的这个儿子起了一个名字，主的名字作为他小儿子的名字。
So the youngest son always gets the most affection from the mother and father.
这个小儿子总是得到父母的宠爱。
So Ajāmila was enjoying so much his young son. It was giving him so much pleasure.
阿迦米勒也总是非常享受这个小孩子，而且这个小孩子也给这个父母带来很多的快乐。
But Ajāmila was not thinking about how close he was to death.
但是阿迦米勒并没有意识到他离死亡到底有多么的近。
So the moment came when he was supposed to die.
所以，当他要死的时候，那一刻就来临了。
But he was very, very fortunate that he called for his son Narayan.
但是他非常非常的幸运，他就呼唤了他儿子的名字 Narayana。
We don't know, did he call for the son Narayan because he thought maybe the son could protect him?
我们不知道他是否了解他在呼唤这个 Narayana 的名字的时候，这个能够帮他是否能够免除他的罪恶。
I don't think that was the intention because he's only a little child and he could hardly walk, he was just still crawling.
我认为他是无意的，因为这个小孩还只是非常的小，他甚至不能走路。
But maybe he could understand that he was close to death, so he wanted to see the child before he left the body, because that's people are like that. Before they leave the material body, they like to see their family members.
但是我认为他想的是，他在临死之前，他想看一看自己的这个家人，他想看看这个小儿子，因为通常在人们离开躯体的时候，人们就会想着自己的家人。
People often, the family members all come and they like to be with the person before they die, before they leave the world. They will say nice words to them before they go.
当人们快要离开这个世界的时候，这些家庭成员都会来，都会来见一见他，然后给他说一些非常甜美的话语。
And the father may give final instructions to the children.
或许这个父亲还会给这个小孩最后的训喻、训示。
May say, take care of your mother, I'm leaving now, I have to go, you have to take care of the family, take care of my wife, your mother.
比如说，请照顾好你的母亲，我要走了，请照顾好这个家庭，我现在要走了。
I'm leaving everything on your behalf, take care of everyone.
我现在就要走了，请照顾好所有的这些大家，好好的照顾他们。
Of course, Ajāmila didn't have, from what we learn, he didn't have much property, he didn't have wealth. He was stealing and cheating and lying and doing many things to maintain his family.
但是我们所了解的是，阿迦米勒并没有很多的财产，他一直在欺骗，一直在抢劫，他并没有很多的财产。
So it's not like he had a lot of property or a lot of estate to leave for his family. He had nothing.
因此，他也并没有很多的遗产留给他的这些家庭成员，他一无所有。
But still, he wanted to see the youngest child was absorbing his mind.
但是仍然他想看一看他最小的这个儿子。
So this was to save him.
但是这个事情拯救了他。
So he got the greatest mercy.
他得到了巨大的仁慈。
Although he's very sinful, never
did
anything pious.
即便他非常的罪恶， 他也没有做很多的，他没有做过虔诚的活动。
But by the arrangement of the Lord, he can be delivered.
通过主的安排，他可以得到了拯救。
Okay, are there any questions?
Yes, this question from Divya Shakti Devidasi. 顶拜姑类，感谢翻译。瓦坛第4篇讲了很多历史人物，有的记不住人名。问题讲这些历史的作用是什么 ？Obeisance to Gurudev. In the Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 4, they say a lot about the history people, but I can't remember their names. I want to know what's the importance for say about this history.
Well, the Puranas, these scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam we're reading, it's the Puranas, it's full of histories.
我们学习的这个圣典博伽瓦坛 Purana 这个历史都讲述的都是历史。
The names are not so important. What's important is the message, the philosophy.
这些人名不是很重要，重要的是这些信息。
You should understand the teachings. What message are they giving?
我们得了解到底这个信息给予了我们什么，他们教导我们是什么。
We're reading Srimad Bhagavatam not just to remember the names, but to remember the message, the instruction.
我们学习圣典博伽瓦坛不是记忆这些名字，而我们是记忆这里面的训示，这里面的讯息。
However, if you hear these pastimes often enough, you will also remember some of the names.
不管怎样，如果你经常总是去聆听的话，你也会记住一些这些名字。
Just like what names have we said today? We've said 2 names, Ajāmila and Narayana.
就像今天我们记住了2个名字 Ajāmila, Narayana.
Oh, we also had the name Yamaraja.
我们还听到了 Yamaraj.
And that's 3 names, right?
3个名字，是不是？
The servants of Lord Narayan and the servants of Yamaraj. They were both coming to get Ajāmila.
Yamaraj 阎罗王的仆人和 Narayana 的仆人，他们都来到了阿迦米勒的面前。
But the important point is the message, the power of the holy name.
但是最重要的信息，最有力量的信息是关于圣名的力量。
This is important parts of history.
这是历史的重要的一部分。
We studied history, I studied history, maybe at school you also studied history. It was all useless. It didn't really give us any real knowledge.
我们学习的历史，比如说你以前在学校学习的历史等等这些历史，这些历史不会给予我们真正的知识。
We didn't get any, we just heard about one king fighting another king, and one person wants to get a bigger kingdom than another person.
我们只是从这些历史知道，以前的我们学的这些历史知道了，一个国王跟另一个国王在打仗。
Somebody wants to say, my system of government is better than your system of government.
还有一些人在那里争论，我的政府的系统比你的这个国家的这个系统要好。
But it's all temporary in this world.
但是这些都是很短暂的，对于这个世界来说。
We cannot live here forever. We're all going to leave one day.
我们不可能在这个世界上永恒的生存着，我们有一天就是会离开这个世界。
And we leave one body, we have to take another body.
我们离开这个躯体，然后我们又得到另外一个躯体。
So we are thinking about this problem.
我们在思考的是这个问题。
We're not just thinking about some temporary solution to economic development.
我们不应该只是思考那些短暂的解决问题的方法。
We want to, people want materialist people, they want more higher standard of living, they want more sense gratification.
这些物质主义者，他们想的是更高标准的享受，更高标准的感官享乐，这些都是短暂的。
But this is just coming due to the false ego.
而这一些想法的缘由是因为假我。
False ego means forgetfulness of Krishna.
假我的意思是忘记了 Krishna，
We've forgotten our spiritual nature.
我们忘记了我们灵性的本性，
Instead, we're thinking, I am the body,
取而代之的是，我们认为我们是这个躯体，
and I have my senses, and I have to satisfy my senses.
我有我的感官，我得去享受我的感官。
So, understand the philosophy. You don't have to worry about the names.
你得去理解这个哲学是什么，不要太担心这些名字。Next question.
Yes.
Next question from Sati Mataji. 感谢咕噜的甜美讲课。现在听到很多身边的人进入到老年之后，患上了老年痴呆症，出现很多无法控制自己言行的症状，甚至出现好像被其他灵魂控制，或者看到精微灵魂的症状。早些年并没有听说这样大量的病症，这是什么原因造成的呢？ Thanks, Guru's wonderful class. Now I heard many people, they are going to the old age. They get bad disease and they can't control their speaking. It seems that they are controlled by the subtle, some subtle souls or some other souls. In the early age, we didn't hear about this kind of disease. So I want to know why this happened.
Who are these people who are controlled by subtle souls?
Some old elder people, they can't control their speaking, but
Oh,
they control. Yeah.
okay. So maybe at the time of death,
Yes.
so the Yamadutas can come. The Yamadutas come to take the old people away.
Gurudev, you mean the Yamaduta come and control this? Oh,
Yeah, when we can't understand what the people are saying, old people, they're actually, often it's the Yamadutas coming to take them away, and they start talking, they're afraid. They don't want to go with the Yamadutas, but they're afraid.
我们可以看到有很多年老的人，在快死的时候，这些亚麻都塔来，但是这个人又不想死，他见到这些亚麻都塔就非常的害怕。
So these are the subtle souls which come.
这个时候，这些精微的灵魂就来了。
It's quite common.
这是很普遍的。
At the time of death, people become very afraid, very fearful.
在年迈的时候，在快死的时候，人们非常的害怕死亡。
So often the Yamadutas come to take them away.
这个时候亚玛都塔来就把他们带走。
But anybody who chants the holy name or who wears the kuntimala, tulsi neck beads around the neck, they should not have that problem.
但是那些唱诵主的圣名的人，带着图拉西锦珠的人，不应该有这样的问题。
People who have taken shelter of the Supreme Lord, they don't have to worry about going to Yamaraj.
那些唱诵主圣名的人，他不应该害怕被带到亚玛拉家那去，他们不会害怕被带到亚玛拉家那去。
The servants of Lord Yamaraj are told never to go near the devotees of Lord.
这些亚玛都塔被亚玛拉告知，永远不要去找那些奉献者。
Okay.
Okay. Next question from Saraswati Mataji. Hare Krishna, 顶拜 Guru， 顶拜翻译和主持。以及所有的奉献者。问题一：阿迦米勒平时也叫小儿子拿尔央的，也得到净化吗？朱王哈拉吉居住的北极星是北斗七星吗？Hare Krishna, obeisance to Gurudev. My first question is, when the Ajāmila called his little boy Narayana, he get purified?
The little boy?
Yeah.
Definitely.
是的，肯定得到净化。She mean ordinary time, not at the end of time.
Ordinary time?
When the other time he called Narayan's name, he get purified.
The little boy, yeah.
是的，是的。
Hearing the holy name, very purifying.
聆听唱诵主的圣名是非常净化的。
Hearing the holy name purifies, and it also can bring opulence, also can bestow all kinds of opulence on the hearer.
聆听主的圣名，能够 can all the opulence when they hear.
Yes, can bring opulence.
能够带来所有的富裕。
Everything can come from bhakti.
所有的都可以从 bhakti 获得。
You have to think, what do you want? What do you want to get from bhakti?
你得知道你想在 bhakti 中得到什么。Second, she asked, Dhruva Maharaj living in the Poland is the lost star?
Dhruva Maharaj what?
Dhruva Maharaj's living place is the lost star?
Yes.
是的。
He's been given that for a residence until the end of the lifetime of Brahma.
他在那里一直住到主 Brahma 的这个结束的时候。Next question. Next question from Divya Shakti Devidasi. 图拉西是怎么变成树的？谢谢 Gurudev. How the Tushi become a tree?
How did Tulsi become a tree?
Yes.
Well, Tulsi always has that form to serve Krishna.
Tushi 这个它的这个树的这个形象，它永远是这个树的形象，服务着 Krishna。
This pastime is not really in our sampradaya. It's not really in our line. It's a Puranic story.
但是这个逍遥时光并不是属于我们的这个师徒传系的这个逍遥时光，是 Puranic 的这个传系。
It's not something which Prabhupada wrote about.
也就是说，这不是圣帕帕德所写的。
But there is a pastime there that she was a woman and she got cursed and she would serve the Lord and she would take the form of the bush, take the form of the tosi tree.
她是一个女性，然后呢，她想服务主，她得到了这个诅咒，然后她最后成了这个突喜的这个树。
And her leaves, her manjaris, the flowers on the tosi tree, they would be the offering for the shalagram, for Lord Narayan in his form as shalagram.
它的这个叶子，它的这个花，就是突喜孟加瑞，它用来服务沙兰格 ram 的这个希了。
So I have not really read that whole pastime, so I can't really tell you everything about it.
我并没有完整的读过这个逍遥时光，我也不能完整的给你讲述这个。
I try to concentrate on reading Prabhupada's books.
我试着在专注于圣帕帕德的这些书籍。
Prabhupada told us everything is in my books. Everything we need to know is in my books.
圣帕帕德说，所有我们应该知道的一切都在我的书里面。
So I don't find this pastime you're mentioning about Tosi, it's not in Prabhupada's books. So I can understand it's not very important for us.
我并没有在我们的这个书里面找到这个逍遥时光，所以我的理解是这一部分的这个事情对于我们来说并不是很重要。
But we understand Tosi is a pure devotee, and she has the form of the tree because she can serve the Lord in that form.
但是我们得了解到，突喜他是一个纯粹的奉献者，他以这样的这个形式服务着这个主。
Just like in the spiritual world, there are also trees. The living entities take the form of trees in the spiritual world for giving service to the Supreme Lord.
就像在灵性世界，很多生物以树的这个形象出现在这个灵性世界，来服务主。
You may say, "Oh, I don't want to be a tree," but some living entities they will take that service for the pleasure of Lord Krishna.
你或许说我不想成为这个树，但是有一些奉献者，他以这种形式给主带来快乐。
Because trees produce flowers and fruits, and they give shade. They do a lot of service.
但是树它给予这个庇荫，还有果实，它给主做了很多的奉献服务。
So some trees are very, very pious.
因此，很多的树它非常的虔诚。
And Tosi is also the most sacred, the most pious of all trees.
突喜又是所有这些树之中最虔诚的一棵树。
And she's very dear to Lord Krishna.
它对主 Krishna 来说非常的亲切。
还有问题？
Yeah, next question from Chaitanya Lila. Obeisance to Guru. 如果精微躯体附体的奉献者依靠圣名服务，可以战胜附体吗？ If some devotees have some subtle ghost come, when he chant the holy names, can overcome this thing?
Yes.
可以的。
You just have to chant loudly and purely, without
你只
offense.
需要大声的、纯粹的唱诵就好。
If you're chanting the holy name, these spirits will never come to you.
如果你唱诵主的圣名，这些精微的东西不会靠近你。
Yeah.
Yeah. Next question from 喜浪，顶拜姑对占星说，一奉献者离开躯体时，主离星哈 deva 来拯救他，这意味着什么呢 ？Obeisance to Gurudev. Some astrologers said when the devotee is leaving the body, the Lord Nishinhadev will come to save him. What is meaningful?
Means Lord Nrsingadev will come and take you home back to Godhead.
这意味着主离星哈 deva 会把这个人带回守神，带回家园。
Yeah, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death.
主 Krishna 在《薄伽梵歌》中说，我是把人从这个生死中拯救出来的那一位。
So Krishna comes, and he may come as Lord Nrsingadev, he may come in whatever form the devotee is attached to, the Lord may come and take him back to Godhead.
因此，主 Krishna 或许会以你辛哈 Deva 的形象出现，或许以其他的形象，这个奉献者所依附的这个形象出现，把这个奉献者带回首神，带回家园。
下一个问题。
Hare Krishna，
OK。
对。这喜浪，这位奉献者他后来又问了一句，他说这一世没有得到解脱。可能这占星师说这一世没有得到解脱，他就不知道是
他讲谁？
就是刚刚他不是问，就是说占星师说这个人这个奉献者在离开躯体的时候，主你向他这边来拯救他吗？但是又说他在这一世没有解脱，就是这两种说法。
如果Lord Nrsingadev来帮助他拯救他，肯定解脱。怎么没有解脱？肯定解脱。Lord Nrsingadev来帮助拯救他。
所以说这个占星师说的就有矛盾。
他讲什么？他告诉我在什么情况？他讲什么人？我们没有听过一个人这样。
是的，不知道具体的情况是什么。好，那我们往下进行吧，看看回头。
Next question from Chaitanya Lila。如果精微躯体附体在非奉献者家人身上打扰，让家人的心意、认知和行为异常，如何应对？会好转吗？如何向主祈祷 ？If the some subtle ghost give some disturb to the long devotees family, how to face this problem?
Make them devotees.
那就让他们成为奉献者。
Get them all to chant the holy name.
让他们唱诵主的圣名。
Blow the conch shells regularly.
吹这个海螺，有规律的吹这个海螺。
And sprinkle Ganges water everywhere.
然后带一些恒河水。Then this devotee asks, how to pray to the Lord?
How to pray?
To the Lord.
By chanting holy name, chanting Hare Krishna mantra.
如何向主祈祷呢？就唱诵主的圣名，唱诵 Hare Krishna Mantra。
The Maha Mantra is a perfect prayer to offer to the Lord.
这个 Maha Mantra 是最好的祈祷，对给予主的。
The Lord is very attracted, very pleased when people will chant His holy name.
当人唱诵主的这个圣名的时候，主非常的被取悦。Next question from Kamakeli David Dasi. Hare Krishna 顶拜 Guru Maharaj 和所有的奉献者，请问我们供奉时摇铃和之前看招幽灵的摇铃好像是一样的，那如何区分吉祥与不吉祥呢？我非常害怕幽灵。Hare Krishna obeisance to Guru Maharaj. When we offerings, we ring the bell. But when others also they want to get the ghost, they also ring the bell. It seems our ringing the bell, their ringing the bell are the same. So how to distinguish the species and all species as not not auspicious things.
Everything which is in relation to Krishna is auspicious, and anything which is not in relation to Krishna is not auspicious.
所有和 Krishna 有连接的事情就是吉祥的，所有没有和 Krishna 有连接的事情就是不吉祥的。
So when you ring the bell for the pleasure of Krishna, or to let Krishna know you're coming in the temple, then it's auspicious.
当你摇铃的时候，当你进到这个庙堂里面去见 Krishna 的时候，你摇这个铃的时候，这就是吉祥的。
But if you just ring the bell just for the sake of ringing the bell, that's not auspicious.
但是如果你只是为了摇铃，觉得这个事情很玄秘的话，
If you just ring the bell for the sake of ringing the bell, for no purpose.
OK， 如果你只是摇铃，只是为了摇铃而摇铃，没有任何的目的的话，这个是不吉祥的。Next question from Hani Wamsa， 奉献者可以看众神之神的电视剧吗？这里面有很多圣典波加瓦坛的故事，但主要是荣耀主西瓦，可以结合经典起来看这部电视剧吗？Does the devotees can watch the Goddess of the God TV series? There are many stories of the Bhagavatam from the Bhagavatam, but and not from the Bhagavatam. This series it seems glorious the Lord Shiva. So can we watch this series combine the sastras?
Not recommended.
不推荐。
Television, nobody became a pure devotee watching television.
通过看奉献者，没有人通过看这个电视剧而成为纯粹奉献者。
Better you get a habit for reading and studying Prabhupada's books.
更好的是通过学习圣帕帕的书籍。
And get the taste for chanting the holy name, having more kirtan.
通过唱诵主的圣名，通过获得对唱诵圣名的品味。
It's an important activity. You want to encourage your child that he regularly hears you chanting the holy name.
这是非常重要的，让你的小孩子很有规律的聆听圣名。
You have a duty to show a nice example for your child.
你有你的职责，应该向你的小孩子展现一个很好的榜样。
So watching television is not good.
因此，看电视剧并不好。
It'd be better to get rid of your television.
你最好避开电视剧，放弃看电视剧，改掉这个看电视剧的习惯。
You don't need a television in your home.
你不应该有电视放在你的家里面。
You just need madanga and kartal, harmonium.
你只需要米当嘎鼓、卡尔塔和哈姆里琴。
You just need nice books like Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam.
你只需要很好的这个书，比如圣典波加瓦堂和波加方歌。
Try to stay away from Maya.
远离玛雅。
Televisions are Maya.
电视剧是玛雅。
Yes?
Yes, finish.
Oh, that's it?
Finish, 快手。Yeah, 快手 finish.
Okay.
OK， 谢谢顾问。
Okay, so thank all the devotees for their time, for listening and asking questions.
感谢所有的奉献者给我们提出很好的问题。
Thank Ganshia Subudhirai, Giwaman Jintai de Fani, Ganshia Sati Jujer, Waman Jufu Fong Shenza, Chang Song Bin Kwai La.
Hare Krishna，谢谢 Gurudev 的精彩讲课。
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Go back to Vrinda ki.
Jai.